Hello, everyone. I'm Hans Engel from the Directors Guild of Canada. Thank you for joining us for this year's online version of DGC Visionaries. Over the last few years, DGC Visionaries has become a must-attend event at many of our top film festivals, bringing together some of the most interesting filmmakers with films at the fests. This year, we're taking Visionaries online and sharing it clear across the country, highlighting as many brilliant filmmakers as we can. All DGC Visionary sessions are being recorded and will be posted on the DGC National YouTube channel. I'm thrilled and honored to be here with these guests. We're speaking with filmmakers Gloria Kim and Karen Lamb about Gloria's new film, Queen of the Morning Calm, that is playing at the St. John's International Women's Film Festival, among others. And I can't think of a better person to lead this conversation than Karen Lamb. Karen has worked full-time in the film and television industry since 2000. Starting her career as a producer and entertainment lawyer, Karen has since written and directed 8 short films, 2 music videos, series directed a true crime documentary series for Investigation Discovery, a web series Mythos in 2015 created for TELUS, and 3 feature films, Stained in 2010, Evangeline in 2013, and The Curse of the Willow Song, just released this year in 2020, which premiered at the Vancouver International Film Festival in September. That film won Best British Columbia Feature Film, and Karen received a Best Director Award at the British Columbia Leo Awards for her work. Karen has also written television scripts for Sci-Fi and Netflix on the series Van Helsing and Ghost Wars. I'm thrilled to introduce our featured director. Born in Seoul, Korea, writer-director Gloria Kim comes from a long line of media makers. She's an alumni of the Canadian Film Centre's Directors Lab, TIFF Talent Lab, and the National Screen Institute. She recently directed, wrote, and produced her first feature, which we're here to talk about tonight, Queen of the Morning Calm, which won the William F. White Real Canadian Indie, the DGC Ontario Best Director Award, and the Special Jury Best Breakthrough Performance Award at the Canadian Film Festival. It premiered at the 2019 Whistler Film Festival and was nominated for the Borsos Award. And it's recently been nominated for the DGC Best Editing Award. The film's script placed in the second round at the Sundance Screenwriting Lab and earned Gloria both the Spotlight on Screenwriters and Telefilm Canada New Voices Award. Her last short, Flamenco, in 2015 on CBC, won the 2017 Chorus Fearless Female Filmmaker Award. Let me try that again. 2017 Chorus Fearless Female Filmmaker Award. It's a tough one. Her other short films for CBC that have won many awards and festivaled all over the world. She's won numerous golds for her commercial work at the Bessies, Cannes Lions, ADCC, Marketing Magazine Awards, and has had over 1 million views online. She's directed multiple episodes of television for Sinking Ship, Riverbanks, and BGM. She was chosen by Women in View as one of the 2017 Five in Focus and is on the board of directors for Women in Film and Television Toronto. She's worked as a writer for Breakthrough Entertainment's Blood and Water, a fantastic series, and Captain Fang for Omni, and has earned a Canadian Screen Award nomination for Best Direction for It's My Party. Gloria and her writing partner, Samora Smallwood, have received development funding for their thriller series Gone from the Canada Council CBC Creation Accelerator. Gloria is currently directing a 2-episode block of Coroner on CBC in season 3. Thrilled to welcome both Gloria Kim and Karen Lamb. Come on in.
Hi, Hans. Thank you.
Welcome, welcome. Great to have you here. Great to see you.
Great to see you too.
Now, before I hand it over to the two of you, I just want to point those tuning in to the Q&A button. That's where you can type your questions for Gloria and Gloria and Karen. Karen will be watching the Q&A tab for your questions throughout the conversation, and she'll try to get to as many of them as she can. That's it from me. I'll see you at the end. Gloria, Karen, really looking forward to this.
Thanks,
Over to you.
Hans.
Makes sense. Hey.
Hi.
Yay! Thank you so much for. I saw the movie and I really enjoyed it, and I feel very proud because I'm an investor in your Kickstarter. So,
Yes, thank you, Karen. You're so sweet. Honestly, that Kickstarter campaign was, I mean, I couldn't have made the film without it. I needed that cash in hand for sure. And it was a crazy campaign. It was like this 2 week period where we knew, I and my co-producer knew, okay, we've got to be done by this date because then we can get the money in the bank within 2 weeks of that. And we need that cash. So it was intense.
oh, but I'm so proud. It worked so well. I really,
Thank
really enjoyed
you.
it. And so
Thank
you can
you.
actually see the labor of love that went into it. So,
Oh, thank
um,
you.
of course, I have a billion questions for you. First
Awesome.
being, how did you know this was going to be your first feature?
Gosh, I mean, I didn't know if it was going to be my first feature. It was something that I started writing, like as a short. I think it was in 2007 was when I first wrote the kind of the first short bit down, you know, when you have an idea in your head or like you feel the character's voice is talking to you and you're just like, oh, I'm just going to write this down and not really think about it. So it wasn't intended to be a feature. I just thought it was going to be this very like little 10-page, like 10-minute um, view into a life that you drop in and then, you know, there's no real resolution, you walk away. And that's what I thought it was going to be, you know. And then I had presented it at the CFC Directors Lab when I was doing that the year after, and they wanted 10-minute shorts, and I thought, well, this is the only thing I have written right now, so I'm just going to present this. And I remember the editor in residence, Marlo Miazga, said to me, oh, Gloria, you know, this is not a short, this is a feature, you have to write it. And I remember thinking, oh my God, I can't write a feature. It's too much. You know, it's like so much work. It's like, you know, 90, 100 pages. That's like, I don't know if I can wade through that. But I had gotten, like the year after, I got a script writing grant to work on another script. It was called The Banquet. It was like this family, you know, comedy drama. Um, and but weirdly the banquet was just a little too close to my own life and my own circumstances, if you know what I mean. It was like this, you know, middle class Korean family and the mom, big personality, and the daughter toiling away kind of in her career kind of thing. And I was like, oh, I can't look at that. And so I went back to Queen because I was like, well, somehow these characters are kind of talking to me, and particularly the Mona character was really talking to me. She was really insistent, you know, that I pay
She's
attention to
insistent
her.
in the
Yes,
quite a
yes, she's quite insistent, right? And so I just thought it was kind of my way, and I had given birth at that point. I had had a child at that point, and so I was like, well, you know, like it was weirdly my way of procrastinating from writing The Banquet. So
I wondered about that because the daughter is like Mona is so real to it. I stupidly assumed that it was based on your own daughter, and
no.
it's so your she's your daughter's the afterthought. Like, did she turn into Mona? Like,
No, not at all. Like my daughter is an angel. Like, you know, I mean, she's a normal kid, but like, you know, she's very articulate and, you know, she sings and very communicative and, you know, like she and I are best friends. And so it was totally, Mona was totally a different, I mean, like she was totally a different person, and she just came to me. She was almost kind of like this tough little girl that I wanted to be when I was a little girl.
so is that where you started? Did you start with Mona as and then kind of build out the family from there?
Yeah, yeah. So I basically yeah, I started with Mona. I like she was just the most real to me, and it like for a lot of the early writing it was mostly from her point of view, and then the mother, Deborah, was a character, and Ian was a character. So initially it was like a short with just those three characters, and it was all about Deborah taking Mona with her to visit this new place that she wanted to rent a room at, and Deborah's trying to convince Ian to like basically take her in and give her like free rent or almost free rent, like as much as possible by using her feminine wiles. And anyways, then everything else kind of happened afterwards in the development, where I just kept thinking, oh, well, what if there was this, character, the Sarge, who's, the boyfriend, because then it would give her something to, like someone to conflict with. And then I really wanted to look at the notion of women being for sale, like how women use sexuality and sensuality as just a way, as currency, and how and I wanted to show it in the context of the larger society and how we set that up. Like, I mean, it wasn't like a social political type film. That's not what I wanted to write. But I wanted to write kind of the truth of that notion of women being for sale, if you know what I mean.
So was Deborah always an exotic dancer,
No.
or was that something that you?
I came to that much like halfway through the development. I thought, why don't I make her a sex worker? I just thought, because I just really wanted to look at that, I wanted to look at that whole thing about, like, to me, it's just like, especially when you're writing for film, you kind of want to push push all the boundaries. You want to push, characters. You want to put them in.
Were your characters always Asian? Like, did you write? Okay, so Mona and Deborah were always going to be Asian, and okay, was that important?
It was important to me. It was really important to me. I really wanted to, I really wanted Deborah to be Korean, to represent that story, because I just felt like I haven't really seen that story on screen, in North America. Like, not really.
We're interchangeable, right? You know that.
Of course.
After people would be like, who was who? Like, we'll run a little to see who. If they ask who we are, and so they can tell us. But
so funny, Karen. It's so funny because it's so true. It's
It's like a nameless Asian, right? The idea that you're specific in, right? And for me, I don't know why, but I lost my Chineseness in the fact that now I'm just Asian. Like there's that phrase that we use, right?
Yeah.
It's interesting that and I loved how specific yours was, like that this was that your references were Korean and not, again, just Asian-ish. So.
Yeah, because I really, really, really wanted to see a Korean story on screen in North America. I felt like I really hadn't seen that, and it meant something to me to do that. I mean, there is a biracial, half Japanese actress that I'm just in love with, who I just think is so talented, Emily Pigford, who I was, for a little brief moment, I was like, what if I cast her, just because I just love her so much. But I just thought, but I just really wanted to make it. Would have just changed the story so much. Like, I would have had to write from a much different perspective. And I just thought, since it was starting to become clear to me that this was going to be my first feature, I thought it was important that the characters be Korean.
Should we see a clip, just so that we can basically can see what Mona and her relationship with Deborah is? Why don't we start with the breakfast? So if we can actually see that, that would be, we can bounce off from there.
Amazing.
Mona, breakfast! Where'd you get those glasses?
A friend.
Your friend doesn't need them?
When's Dad coming home?
He's working.
He's coming for my birthday, right?
Mm-hmm.
Can you text him?
Later.
No, now.
I don't know if he'll answer.
Please, Mom, please text him.
Happy?
Did Did he answer?
Mona, give him space. Come on, we're late. Let's go. Come on.
Deborah!
Shit.
Deborah, the rent!
Go.
Late again, Mona.
I just love that little girl. She's like they're amazing. How hard was it finding cast? Did you know the actors before?
I knew of Tina Jung, who plays Deborah, and I knew of her because she was on Kim's Convenience, and I had actually done something with her before, like a comedy thing, and I remember Simulu telling me about her and just saying, "Oh, you should really see her." But I only knew her as a comedic actress and who could play really sarcastic but I was open, right? I was like, I'm willing to see what she can do. I would never say no if an actor is wanting to come and audition, right? So I did know about her, and then she just blew me out of the water. She was so amazing. Like, she was the one, I feel like she was the actress who was not afraid to go there. She was not afraid to just go and just lose her cool and, just go and be like the crazy mom and like be the tiger mom, like I had the scene that I had everyone auditioned to. There was a couple of them, but one of them was the scene where she loses her temper with Mona, because I just wanted to know because if you don't really lose your temper, it's just not going to work. It's just going to be phony, and who cares, And she just was not afraid to go there. She was just spectacular. And I was like,
Did you audition them together, or did
no, I had I did them all separately, and just like, I mean, auditioning for the Mona character was a lot harder. It was
How did you find her? Like, she's just
oh my gosh, it was dig was how it felt. Like, I saw so many kids and and they were all really, really, really adorable. And it's just with child actors, they develop mannerisms, and they develop like a certain style of acting that is expected of them in the kinds of work, the kind of shows that they do, which totally works for the shows that they do. But when you are trying to get a child actor who's not a child actor but an actor, and just be in the moment and be still and be present, it's so hard to find that. It's like I even had there was one really potentially good kid who came in, and I just was like, okay, I'm just gonna work with her for half an hour, and just see if I can get her to be still, just see if I can get her to come from a quiet place, and just see if she can say things like I love you or I hate you, and just really mean it. And it just wasn't everything had a flourish to it, and I was like, I just can't. And so I was like, what am I going to do? And I had put an ad in the Korean newspaper as well. Yeah. And I saw kids from the community, because I thought it's worth seeing if there's like a raw talent out there that I can work with. But nobody really, notable came through. And then I remembered, In's Troy, who created Kim's Convenience, he has this like really deep theater background and knowledge. And I was like, I'm just going to ask him, And so he told me, oh, my friend Richard Lee has a daughter who's an actor who might be suitable, but I don't know about this material. And he sent me her photo, and she is so cute. Like, you just are like, oh my God. And she's cute, like in a like light up way kind of thing. She's like lit up from inside kind of way. And I was just like, well, let me just email them, and I'll just ask. I'll just send them a script, and I'll just ask, what does it hurt? Like, what's the worst he can say is no, right? And I just keep looking. And Richard was like, okay, yes, she wants to audition. And I was like, okay, amazing. And she came in, and she,
like, speaking of range, that little, like, Mona's got scenes where she has to be quite, not just precocious, but kind of unlikable. She acts out.
yes, yeah.
You still have to like her and sympathize with her. And was that something that you had to work on, like, with her to get, like, again, when you've got someone that cute, was it to that?
To get her to push herself to that length. I mean, she's such a good actor, right? Like, she's just so in the moment. And I never work with an actor and say, you have to be unlikable here. Like, that's never what I say, right? Like, it's always like, I try to get into their emotional space and, help them with their arc, or just, say, this is what you want, or, so for her, working with her, it was all about like telling her what, reminding her what she wanted, and, why she wanted it. And I remember we didn't really have any rehearsal time. And we didn't even really have a read through, of all things. And we just I had her and Tina meet, and we, like they're a little stiff with each other. And so I made them do a little dance party, and it's just,
you didn't, you were pretty well, like, you did more than, like, getting to know each other sort of thing, rather than the
like, it was a meeting, but it was like, I was like, we're gonna meet, we're gonna have a dance, and then now we're gonna, like, I want you to sit next to each other, and we'd read that first scene, and they were so polite, and I said, okay, now what I'd like you to do, I said to her, name's Eponine Lee. Eponine is like, every time you want something from her, you pull on her arm, right? And pull really hard, right? And so, she did that, and she would tug on Tina's arm, and it just completely changed the tenor of their relationship. Like, it just really, it right away put them at a kind of an intimacy that, that when you are with, like, if you're really a parent with a child, and the child is always going to be a brat, like you're going to be annoyed. So,
right. So the breakfast scene, you were mentioning before that it was a tough one, and can you tell me what?
Yeah, it was a tough one. It was our first scene up. It was like, it was a challenge, and just like your first scene of your first day of a very, very, very green crew, who are all, young kids. And
had you worked with a crew before, or were they pretty...
No, they were all very, very, very green, except for the DP, right?
Okay.
I mean, I had good keys. My keys were great. The DP was amazing. He and I had worked together before, and we'd worked,
so you guys set the look beforehand, like, as
oh,
what
yeah.
you thought. Like, did you shot list? Did you storyboard?
I shot list. I don't usually storyboard. What I usually do is a floor plan. I just like to know where the cameras are, but I don't storyboard. I'm like wide or medium, or,
Right.
and then I do visual references. I just sent a bunch of visual references, and, talked to my cinematographer, Dimitri Lopatin. I talked to him about it being a conversation between warm and cool tones, and how important the warm tones were to me. And just, we were really blessed. We had Panavision come on as a sponsor. And so we were able to use the Alexa, I mean, it was the Alexa Classic, but still wasn't Alexa.
I still love the Alexa because it's got like it has natural grain to it. So
Yeah.
actually very filmy. It's
Yeah.
it's probably a camera, not a sunglass camera.
Yeah,
Sorry.
exactly. Yeah.
I love all our camera companies.
Yeah, of course, of course. Yeah, and then we were able to use their lenses, and we like they have these lenses. They're these vintage lenses from the 70s called the Super Speeds, and they were just delicious. The image was like, and I remember Dimitri calling me and saying, there's this one particular lens. It's the 40 millimeter of this specific set that I could swap it out, but it does this thing. It's got kind of a warmer cast and it flares unexpectedly. And I said, that's the lens. That's the lens, right? Like, bring that one. That's the one we're going to shoot a lot of I just had this feeling that was going to be the one that was going to, be.
Yeah, because you've got different worlds in it. I'd say that there's the footage that you shot in the nightclub has a almost unreal quality to it, and it's very dreamy and romantic in some way. But like, was that something? So you guys had these looks before you started?
Yeah. Oh, definitely, and just talking about the use of color and the kind of lighting that he was going to use, and he wanted to use these Austero tubes that wasn't available through one of the sponsors, and so we managed to get them through another. So the sponsor was Whites, who were fabulous and gave us. Allowed us a dolly, which was amazing. It was incredible. And then the other smaller sponsor that wasn't through Women in the Director's Chair was Ontario Camera, and they were really generous as well.
Right, you went to Women in the Director's Chair, so there was a package that came along. This is classic indie filmmaking, where you're
100%.
Everything that we're trying to grab together to do this. Do you think about music before, or was that something that you come up with in post, or did you already have kind of a soundscape in mind when?
I mean, like I worked with a really great composer, Stephen Kreklo, who I met through the CFC, and he was pretty fabulous, actually, who I met through my editors, actually, Aurélie Bouillon and Michelle Schemberg. He just, he was just really easy to work with. And Michelle and Aurélie were also really great in pulling together like a temp track that really worked for me, which I really appreciated. Because when you can have a really good temp track, you can kind of give a direction to the composer as well.
Yeah, and it also helps with your editing, because you want your pacing. It sets the mood, and things where the temp track literally threw everybody off because reacting to it in a way, oops, that. Yeah, and so it really I have to say that hearing your score really it put me in the right mood for what we were seeing. So I was really, it was a nice balance of that.
Yeah, he composed everything except for the last song, which was a Port City song. So everything, even the diegetic stuff.
Cool. Yeah, I always think that sometimes as directors, we spend all the time thinking about production and because you're a filmmaker all the way through, you're not just delivering it and kind of like getting off post. It's something that you're thinking about the whole time. Yeah. It's that challenge, because I think the wrong score with this could either make it feel really maudlin or too chirpy, and I think you hit that perfect balance of what.
Thank you.
So
yeah, thank you. Yeah, no, I definitely didn't want it to feel maudlin or or gray. You know what I mean? Like I wanted it to feel, it was really important for me that the images were beautiful and that the sound was beautiful.
And speaking of, I think one of the most important things that I found all the way through your film was just the relationships that you were able to build with the characters, that those were what grounded the whole story. That even though she's like, again, the sex worker, she's in this club, like she could feel unreal, and yet all the relationships that she has, and her life is very grounded. It wasn't, like, it didn't feel like Showgirls, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
I'd love
Thank you.
the second clip. Ryan, can you cue up the joint scene, as we call it?
Just one more class and I'm done.
Mm-hmm. You're leaving me.
No. You can visit me. Here. You be you visiting, and I'll be me in my new office.
What? Yo, where Deborah Choi at? The new accountant bitch.
I'll get a suit and I'll look so awesome.
Yeah, you will. So what you gonna do for your birthday?
Fuck it. Nothing.
Why?
You know why.
Bitch, you look great, okay? You could be dancer for the next 10 years.
No. I'm out. Remember Sue?
Yeah?
She went to college.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna be like her.
Yeah. Right.
You just wait.
Okay.
Okay, I gotta go feed Mona and get ready.
Okay.
You got the $20 for the taxes? Sarge went out to a game and I gotta pay for Mona's birthday present.
Yeah. Yeah, of course.
Just love how natural that friendship is, and I love that
Yeah.
you left it as a oneer, on like basically, well, it's a
Thank
tour, I
you.
guess. But it's you didn't overcomplicate it. Was that something that you had in mind as well?
Mhm. Yeah, I deliberately shot it like that. I didn't shoot any coverage. I just shot that 1-2 shot, like several takes of it until it felt really right to me, because I wanted to get that interplay between them. I wanted it to feel real. I wanted it to feel natural, and it was there, and I knew it was there. The two of them had really good chemistry together, and I just really wanted to showcase that, in just in that simplicity,
Yeah.
and because I knew I could get them there. I knew that they were going to get there.
Was this as far as in your schedule? Was this when did they already know each other, or was this like did you work up to this?
I can't remember now if I think it was the scene, I think we started in sequence. So there was the scene when they walk into the apartment when she's coaxing her, and then this scene. So it was maybe their second scene together. But
That's
yeah,
amazing. I'm more impressed now because they just seem to be old friends.
Yeah, they were really relaxed. They were really relaxed, and
Was it a real joint?
They were clove cigarettes, and we had, I can't even remember what the our director put in there. He was just like,
I also really appreciate the fact that, and I don't know if this is like a Canadian or an indie or something, but the fact that there's no, like the joint usage is just what we are. Like, you know what I mean? There was no relations to it. It wasn't like, it was just, hey, friends, this is what you do.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. It's like, come on.
Exactly. And she's not like, as in it didn't turn into anything more than just, again, a lovely friendship scene. And I think I really, that it really felt like that friendship, along with the relationship between Deborah and Mona, are what really ground the film for me. It felt like these relationships are what's really key. And I'm yeah. And so, but I actually have some questions too about the whole Sarge thing, because I think people could, again, you've got the Asian woman with the white guy, you know what I mean? Like, I always have these, like, it's my own thing, which is like, oh no, it's Miss Saigon, or Madam needing some white dude to come and, like, basically, you know what I mean? You can share it with some or something like that. It's a romance, but you didn't make it into that, which I thought was really amazing. Like that, he was kind of a good for nothing, you know.
Yeah.
A lot of
yeah. It definitely, yeah. And I just wanted to talk about that notion of romance, and that you know, like, I think we grow up, you know, as a culture, like as maybe even as a world culture, but particularly in the West, we grew up with this notion of romance as the thing that's going to be the answer to all your problems, and gonna save the day or what have you. And I think it's for both for men and for women, you know, but particularly for women, you know, like, you're raised on it, you know. And I just kind of really wanted to just show a story of a woman who comes into her own as her own person, you know, and not through the relationships that she has with a guy, because I just feel like it's so tired, it's so old, you know. And maybe it's just, you know, because I'm older or what have you, but it's, you know, relationship has a different meaning to me now, as opposed to, like, I'm gonna meet someone, fall in love, and it's just gonna make everything go away, all the pain, or it's gonna, like, justify everything. And that was an important thing for me,
yeah.
for
And
sure.
especially given the fact that, and adding culture on top of it, that whole, again, white guy, Asian woman, like, sort of scenario, we've been fetishized so often, at least in the Western culture, you know. It's almost like, it's like, for a while there, I felt like a Fendi purse, you know what I mean? Like, oh, this thing is happening. And it's something that you're sort of half conscious of. And I was so relieved to see your film where the real love story to me is really between Mona and her mother, as compared to, like, the guy, you know, basically.
Yes, 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, it was very definitely a choice. I remember at one point, I just, sometimes you take your script for a walk, and you know, go to different places, and you just try different things. And one of the things I thought I tried was, like, what if Ian was the guy who, like, beat up Sarge and then they lived happily ever after? And I was like, oh God, no, this is not fitting at all what I want to say, and it's not real, and it's not real to the characters, and that, you know, I just didn't at all believe it. But I did take it for a walk. But with, yeah, Sarge too, and casting him as a white guy, I mean, I did look at casting him, you know, like, as a BIPOC actor, and really thought about that.
I think it's really important Sarge was a white guy, because he turned a lot of things on their heads. You know, I thought that was important. That I would say that it's really important because you were able to turn, again, some of the stereotypes on their heads. Like the idea that he, in some ways, both Mona and Deborah sort of romanticize him at the beginning. And as their journey goes along and the arc happens and their relationship kind of shifts, mom and daughter, it's almost like the veneer comes off Sarge, you know, like, in what he both of them. Because in a lot of ways, I felt that, you know, Mona, the way that all little girls do, kind of idolize their dad. And I felt that, you know, at the end, seeing, like, that final straw sort of stuff of what he's actually going to do, which is in some ways, like, use the, like, Deborah in a way to, you know what I mean? Like, in some ways he was pimping her out at the end. And Mona recognizing that and actually, you know what I mean? Like, that felt to me like the right happy ending, rather, like, really satisfying to me. Sorry, not supposed to be spoiled.
No, but I totally felt the same way. I just thought that was really important. And I also did think it was really important not to represent BIPOC men as abusive. So I thought that was, like, I just needed to stay away from that.
It's so funny now we can actually make old white guys basically villains. That's a villainous thing, right? Like, that's the only safe place to put it. But it is so interesting too, because I felt like you didn't have the white savior complex, you know, and I think that's what's so important to me about this film, is that having the authenticity of your voice. And I don't want to let this conversation go without asking about the relationship Mona has with her mom. That's a really important scene for me as a fellow Asian woman who has a complicated relationship with her mother. That the phone conversation was really interesting to me, and it was, like, again, we've had a little bit of a chat about that, but I really wanted to get your take on basically, did you ever have any notes that made you want to soften that mom character up a little bit? Did you
For sure.
want
100%. Like, you know, right in the especially in the beginning. And I think I was still also finding Deborah's character, but especially in the beginning, one of the notes that I got several times was, well, I don't know if we really want to see a movie about a mean Asian mom.
Of course, we are both laughing because it's like, is there some, no, mean is a whole other matter. Because I don't think that our moms were mean. They were just active in a different sort of way.
Yeah,
and I think
fierce.
They're fierce, right?
Yeah, fierce.
My mom basically told me at some point that the reason she treated me this way was so that I would be tough enough to deal with the world that was outside.
100 million %. 100 million %.
No, none of coddling you. It was like, if you can, my mom basically said, if you can take it from me, you can take it from the rest.
Yeah, 100 million % for sure. That's like, it is very definitely tough love. And and I think that was an important, it was so, anyways, it's very cultural, you know, like the hard ass Asian mom, the tiger mom is a very cultural thing. It's a very real thing. Like, I think, you know, especially in the beginning, getting comments where people just did not understand it at all. Like, they just did not understand, you know, why would this character be this way? And getting that, no, just like, I don't understand why she would be this way. I don't like her. I don't get her, you know, like I don't like her a number of times. And I was, and I was like, yes. And I remember doing a draft where I like took all of that out. I just tried to like make her more, I don't know, apologetic, or like, just like, oh, I'm
sympathetic is the word.
Yeah, sympathetic or what have you. And then and then I had Sydney Chu, who's like a Chinese Canadian producer here in Toronto. Thank God he read a draft and gave me notes, because he said to me, who is this mother? I don't know any Asian mother like this. Like, what are you doing? And so I told him, and he was like, you know, Gloria, no, you can't do that. You can't make it not true to the people who like will see themselves represented. Like, it has to be honest. And I was like, yeah, you're so right. Like, he gets a special thanks in my
and
like,
it's
really, he's in the special thanks because of that note, you know, because it was such a good note.
I mean, I think that's something that's really important too, which is that having advocates in your background, whether it's in your producing team or your financing team, or just people around you that are basically saying, yeah, you're on the right track. Because sometimes you get like, I mean, that's half of us, is how do you navigate the notes that you get so that you don't, so your script still is the script that you want it to be, and not one where it gets really watered down in a lot of ways. Where
because you can get lost in the weeds for sure. Like, and when you're writing, and especially if you're rewriting a lot, and you know, in this particular, you know, journey, there was a lot of rewriting. So with
money comes strings, you know. With money comes rewrites, and
right. Well, I mean, you know, I mean, they were really, I mean, it was just all me, right? It was me and like me trying to find the story. So yeah, but definitely it was, sometimes you get lost. You have to find your way back.
But I'm really happy that she has all the edges, because I think it would have felt, I mean, that's the whole point of having basically different voices. Otherwise, you know, again, why you and why not someone else, right? So,
for sure. Yeah, that was
so
important.
Are you working on something new, or is that like
like I actually now have come back to The Banquet, that first script that I got money for, because now I am ready to tell this story. Now I feel like there's a lot more humor now. I can laugh at that like family story and just be like, oh, it's actually kind of funny.
Well, it is now. I think that with time, you know, basically comedy equals someone else's tragedy. So that's how I look at my whole family. like, oh yeah, that's
Yeah, totally. That's so funny. That's hilarious. Yeah, no, so I'm working on that with Hawkeye Pictures. Yeah, which I'm really happy about. And then there's another few projects that I'm working on with other writers. Like I'm working with Jagjeevan Sohal on his script, Big City Skies, which I'm excited about. And yeah.
And with Queen of the Morning Calm, is it going to it's being released in Canada, right? Are you doing a theatrical? Because I saw photos of you on. You're actually in the theater.
Yeah. We did. Like a 2-week run at Cineplex, actually.
Okay, is it coming? Because I'm dying to show other people the film.
Oh,
or
you're
is it
so nice. I can't remember if we're going to Vancouver. Like we did premiere at Whistler, but Sonia Di Rienzo, who's one of the executive producers, along with Carol Whiteman, she was reaching out and doing some stuff. And I know there's a few different theaters that it's going to play at across the country. I can't remember if Vancouver is one of them. I think she was in touch or is. Yeah. So.
Yeah, I just think it's so important to see, again, a character that isn't, again, I love that Kim's Convenience is doing well, but it's so important for us to actually take that, I guess, take the world and basically expand it, because I feel in a lot of ways that in some ways we're telling the stories that, or I don't know, have you ever had that, the pressure, or have you actually experienced the pressure of telling a specific Asian story, like that kind of feels like, oh, we'd love to see this from you, rather than
I mean, to be honest, I feel like I mean, until in the last couple of years, I don't feel like anybody really wanted to see an Asian story, like if I'm being really honest, right? Like there wasn't really the appetite for it. And it's just starting to open up now. I don't know how you feel about it, Karen, but
I think I got more pressure to like, when are you going to tell your story? And I was like, what do you mean? Like, I was actually fairly defensive about like, I grew up in the prairies, I'm a Mennonite, screw it. You know what I mean? Like, I really didn't go that path.
Yeah.
But it's almost like, with your film, it felt like, wow, Gloria's doing it. Like you're telling a very specific story.
Yeah.
And I feel like this is important just because it breaks that glass ceiling. It basically says, you're a pioneer too. You're heading out there and telling something and showing something that we haven't seen. And I think that's really important.
Thank you. Yeah, that means a lot to me. Yeah, I really wanted as much as possible to try and tell an emotionally honest story. Like the biographical details aren't like my life, but emotionally it's very honest, I think, and just talking about some of those issues that I find really, really interesting, and just about how we see women and how we see Asian women and how Asian women go out in the world. And I just thought that was just a really important thing to do.
I think it's really important. So, yeah, I think Hans wants to come back. We might let him back. Should we let him back?
Yeah, for sure.
There you are.
Here I am.
Hello.
Well, thank you so much, Gloria and Karen, for that really, really great conversation. And
thank you.
Gloria, congratulations again.
Thank you.
Congratulations. The people in the St. John's Women's Film Festival, which is awesome. You didn't get to go this. Yes, nobody's.
Yeah, because of COVID, but they just sent me the most beautiful bouquet of flowers that I was going to post today on Facebook, and then I got swept up with the prep for Coroner. So yeah, thank you.
It deserves all the kudos, honestly.
Thank you.
Absolutely. And Karen, congratulations on all of your work as well, and your film this year as well.
Yeah.
Amazing to have both of you here. having this conversation. A real honor.
We forgot all about you guys. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, it's like a gab fest for us.
Yeah. Thank you.
Find the links and videos to all DGC 2020 Visionaries sessions at dgc.ca Visionaries 2020. Gloria and Karen, thank you so much for spending this time with us.
Thank you.
Congrats.
You.
Have a great run with your films.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good
Bye-bye.
night.